evening. The government of China expresses hope that the Philippines would protect the lawful rights and interests of Chinese nationals in the Philippines following the arrest of a suspected sleeper agent involved in espionage activities. In a press conference on Wednesday, January 22, Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson Mao Ning said that the Chinese government always asks Chinese nationals overseas to abide by local laws and regulations. The spokesperson added that China hopes that the Philippines will stick to the fact, stop shadow chasing, stop peddling the so-called Chinese spy, and earnestly protect the lawful rights and interests of Chinese nationals in the Philippines. Last January 20, National Bureau of Investigation Director Jaime Santiago identified the arrested Chinese national as Deng Yuanqing, a technical software engineer connected with the People's Liberation Army. Santiago said Deng studied at the People's Liberation Army-controlled University of Science and Technology in Nanjing, Jiangsu, China, and specializes in control engineering and automation systems. Deng was arrested in Makati last Friday, January 17, along with his Filipino cohorts, Ronel Jojo Balundo Besa and Jason Amado Fernandez. Earlier, Philippine Navy spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Rear Admiral Roy Vincent Trinidad, said there seems to be a deliberate and calculated move to map out the Philippines by a foreign power. Aside from the case of the alleged Chinese sleeper agent, Trinidad also mentioned other foreign-related incidents such as the submersible drone with Chinese markings found in Masbate. It is the fifth underwater drone under the custody of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The Department of Foreign Affairs says it is ready to work with relevant law enforcement agencies regarding the alleged espionage operations in the Philippines supposedly conducted by a foreign national. In a statement on Thursday, January 23, the DFA says they take any indication of espionage operations by foreign nationals seriously. The agency adds that they are ready to support the Department of Justice, the National Bureau of Investigation, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, and other relevant government agencies as they undertake their respective mandates in accordance with the law. The NBI earlier nabbed suspected Chinese sleeper agent Deng Yuanqing. Authorities said the Chinese individual is involved in espionage activities targeting military and police installations, as well as critical Philippine infrastructure. The Chinese individual is identified to be a technical software engineer connected with the People's Liberation Army. Along with him, two other Filipino cohorts identified as Ronel Jojo Balundo Besa and Jason Amado Fernandez were also arrested. All three of them are facing complaints of espionage under Section 1A and 2A of Commonwealth Act No. 616 in relation to Republic Act 10175 or the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. The 5.8 magnitude earthquake that hit waters of Southern Leyte town on Thursday morning, January 23, caused damage to roads and prompted local government units to suspend classes. Several roads, including those in Barangays Amaga and Himayangan, as well as roads in Liloan town, were rendered impassable due to fallen debris and severe cracks caused by the quake, according to the provincial government of Southern Leyte. The earthquake occurred at 7:39 a.m. on Thursday, and its epicenter was located 6 kilometers east of San Francisco Municipality. The provincial government said residents and travelers are advised to avoid the affected areas for their safety. The provincial government added that clearing operations and assessments are underway, and updates will be provided as soon as possible. San Francisco Mayor Benedicta Tiazon ordered the suspension of classes in the entire town following the earthquake. The Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, along with policemen and fire personnel, were immediately deployed to inspect all 22 barangays to assess the extent of the damage in the municipality, located about 70 kilometers from the provincial capital of Maasin City. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology reported that the temblor was felt across all 18 towns and Maasin City in Southern Leyte. The tectonic earthquake had a depth of 14 kilometers and was also felt at varying intensities in other parts of Visayas and Mindanao. PVOCs warned residents in the affected areas, particularly in Southern Leyte, to brace for possible aftershocks following the earthquake. Meanwhile, a magnitude 5.4 earthquake hit Zamboanga del Norte on the same day. The tectonic quake occurred at 11:41 a.m. The epicenter of the quake was located some 5 kilometers east of Siocon, Zamboanga del Norte. Following her filing of a substitute bill amending controversial provisions of Senate Bill 1979, otherwise known as the Prevention of Adolescent Pregnancy Act of 2023, Senator Risa Hontiveros says hopes are high that the measure would finally gain her colleagues' approval and appeals that the matter be discussed in an urgent manner. In a forum on Thursday, January 23, Hontiveros says her hopes are high on the substitute bill through the support of many advocates against teenage pregnancy.
Fears Higit sa fears, malakas ang pag-asa ko sa ngayon sa bisa ng substitute bill, sa bisa ng hindi talaga ito binibitawan ng mga advocates ng pag-iwas sa teenage pregnancy para sa ating mga adolescents.
Hontiveros says there is ample time for the Senate to do right in terms of addressing the needs of Filipino adolescents. Hontiveros also says she is expecting that the Senate, under the leadership of Senate President Chis Escudero, would pave the way for a normal legislative process for the Senate bill.
Umaasa ako sa kanyang liderato na patuloy buksan ang espasyo para sa legislative process, no? Normal na legislative process sa Senate Bill 1979 na sana, bagamat na normal na legislative process, wag po namin kalimutan, tinatrabaho namin ito sa gitna ng isang krisis, sa gitna ng isang emergency.
Hontiveros also urges her colleagues in the Senate to have a bit more sense of urgency in addressing the matter. Hontiveros filed a substitute bill to the Senate bill on Wednesday evening, January 22. The changes made to the bill include the removal of the phrase guided by international standards in terms of implementing comprehensive sexuality education, limiting comprehensive sexuality education to children 10 years old and above, and the inclusion of a provision guaranteeing academic and religious freedom. Senatorial aspirant Francis Leo Marcos calls on his supporters to back Senator Imee Marcos's re-election bid as he officially backed out from the senatorial race in the upcoming midterm elections. Born as Norman Mangusin, Francis Leo Marcos personally filed his certificate of withdrawal at Palacio del Gobernador on Thursday, January 23. His certificate of withdrawal was personally received by Commission on Elections Chief George Garcia. According to Francis Marcos, he withdrew his candidacy to make way for the candidacy of Senator Marcos.
Sa mga supporter ko, alam naman ni Manang na mahal ko yan eh. Ngayon, kung tanungin nyo na lang siya kung mahal niya ako o hindi, isa pang dahilan kung bakit ko withdraw yung candidacy ko para bigyan ng daan yung kandidatura ni Senator Imee Marcos. So nananawagan ako sa lahat ng mga supporter ko, especially the Filipino Family Club International, na suportahan natin si Senator Imee Marcos to accomplish the given assignment.
Francis Marcos was reportedly claiming to be Senator Marcos's brother. Last November 2024, the COMELEC declared Mangusin a nuisance candidate, reversing the poll body ruling in 2021 when it allowed him to run for 2022 polls. However, the Supreme Court had allowed Mangusin to run for senatorial elections. Garcia said Mangusin would use his stage name, Francis Leo Marcos, in the ballots, with which have caused confusion among voters since his name would come first before Senator Marcos. And these are the stories you need to know today. I am Zacharian Sarao. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net.